Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gregor Stolacic from Zenit GmbH. It's an agency for innovation and technology in North Rhine-Westphalia since many, many years. And on behalf of the Enterprise Europe Network and the Startup Week Düsseldorf, we are welcoming you to our third event related to sustainable packaging. So today we will look into the world of cosmetic packaging, the status quo and the current challenges we are currently facing. And before handing over to our moderator, Professor Dr. Miriam Pein-Hackelbusch, I would like to say a big thanks to our contributors for today's, which are our speakers, first of all, because without them we would not be here now. Of course, also our moderator, our Enterprise Europe Network colleagues that promoted this event abroad, and also our event partners. So yeah, I think this was a very short introduction. Just one thing. And so in the next future, our next plan is to organize something related to sustainable packaging in the pharmaceutical. But we will let you know anyway. Okay, so then enjoy, have fun, and it's up to you, Miriam. I'm handing over to you. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, and also a welcome from my side to all of you. And by the way, I was really amazed by the different countries you come from. So I hope you are all doing well these days. My name is, as Gregor already said, Miriam Pein-Hackelbusch. I'm a professor for the technology of cosmetics and detergents at the University of Applied Sciences and Arts in Ostwestfalen-Lippe. And during the last years, my students, they showed significantly increasing interest for sustainability of cosmetic products and detergents. But due to the basis of their studies, so far, they are mainly focusing on formulation aspects. However, this is also why we're meeting here, sustainability is by far not only limited to formulations. And this is why it is my great honor today to host the session and also to learn interesting things about what does the future of cosmetic product packaging look like. The next 2 hours are subdivided into 2 parts. The first comprises 4 talks of around 10 to 15 minutes each, and this part is followed by a very short break to take a breath before hopping into startup pitches. The questions that might arise, you can write down into the Q&A or F&A part you see down in the lower part of your screen. We will have time after each talk to answer 1 to 2 questions immediately. But if you have typed down your questions, the speakers, they will try to answer your questions also by using this tool after the talk and also after the immediate question session. Now, I wanted to give credits to those who prepared themselves well for today. And we will start with Christina from Der Grüne Punkt, who will give a short insight into recyclates in cosmetic packaging. So, Christina, the floor is yours. Have fun.
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation and the possibility to introduce the green dot to you. I will speak about recyclates coming from the yellow bag, yellow bin, the household collection. This is quite a challenge, and I will share my screen. So I hope you will see the screen. I will go to presentation. I think I have changed. So you see the screen, I think?
The first way was better. Now we see the presenter modus.
Ah, so okay.
So you worsened it.
Okay, so this way.
Perfect.
Okay, so thank you again. I will give you a quick overview, 15 minutes about Green Dot and recyclates, as I said, coming from the yellow bag, yellow bin. So the Green Dot is one of the EPR schemes in Germany. We were the first one over 30 years ago. Now there are some more EPR schemes in Germany. We have approximately over 29,000 customers. We have different sites. Main site is in Cologne, and we have different production sites. We have 395 employees, roughly, 2 production sites, over 30 years experience, as I said, and we do an environmental balance every year, and we save in 2019 over 1 million tons of CO2 equivalents with the system, collection, sorting and recycling of household packaging. And there's a quite huge brand awareness about the Green Dot with the consumer over 90%. Yes, I think you, Miriam, you have already said the future of packaging is about sustainability. There was a study made from MCOR, and the consumer requirement put brands under pressure to use sustainable packaging and sustainable material. For the consumer, the claim recyclable is set for packaging. They want the packaging to be recyclable. The consumer is willing to pay more for sustainable packaging, and nearly half of the respondents want to read on the packaging what is the origin of the material, where does it come from. So the pressure on producer and manufacturer is rising. And we see it even in the political side and the regulations. The use of recycled material is a goal, a political goal. We have on European level the demand of eco-fee modulation, bonus-malus systems, and the usage of recyclates instead of virgin material. In Germany, we have the packaging law with paragraph 21, where the eco-fee modulation is set already. We have the second step you see in the Circular Plastic Alliance. There was a voluntary pledge for the use of 10 million tons of recyclates. This will fail. We saw that, we see that. So there will be regulation instead of voluntary use of recyclates in the future. We have already the minimum usage of recyclates for PET bottles. In the future, this will be widened to other types of packaging as well. You see here another overview, the circular economy agenda, with the demand of usage of recyclates for further packaging, for outer packaging and primary packaging, not only the beverage PET bottles. The single-use plastic directive is already set with the minimum requirements of recyclates for 2025 and 2030. So this is the way for the future, the demand of usage of recyclates in different types of application. So the Green Dot can support the customers on the journey to more sustainability. We have the possibility to analyze the packaging portfolio of a customer. The beginning is the recyclability. This is the beginning of the design for recycling, a good design to sort, separate and recycle the material to produce a high quality recyclate. So we have different possibilities to check the recyclability of packaging, and then as well to support with the usage of recyclates. We have tested and processes. We have different laboratories in our production sites and expert knowledge in application and testing and usage of the recyclates. Just another overview, I just want to show you, we are working together with the Institute Zyklus HTP. Maybe you have heard about that, regarding the assessment of recyclability, to check the recyclability for further application in recyclates and optimization of packaging. We have the possibility to label the packaging, which are over 90% recyclable with a claim recyclable. And for the usage of recyclates, we have founded with partners Gemeinschaft, an association with the possibility to claim the amount of recyclates used in products and packaging. The producers can be a member of this association and then claim the amount of recyclates is checked by an independent partner, and then they could claim the amount of recyclates in this product or packaging. These are two examples of good packaging, good sustainable packaging. On the left side, you see best practice for design for recycling. Rügenwalder Mühle is a German brand for food and meat. And for this packaging here, you see on the picture, they use PP packaging instead of PET trays. The PP packaging compared with the PET tray is very good recyclable. They have optimized the label and the whole construction of the packaging. So this packaging is 96% recyclable, which is high class and very good, and which enables as well to produce high quality recyclates when this packaging is disposed. And on the left side, you see a brand for cleaning detergent, Yemaco. They use the standard recyclate. The standard recyclate is gray because you mix everything together. So they say gray is the new green, like that. And they use the standard material for this cleaning product in this box. So the producer responsibility 2.0 is the next step. So we have to realize to close the gap here, to use the secondary raw material again for the packaging industry and the packaging producers. And we try to deliver high quality recyclates to close this gap. We want to create sales market for this plastic recyclates and optimize this recyclates for high-end application and packaging as well. We have two production sites. One production site is in Hörstel. There, the sorted PP packaging from the sorting plant are produced to PP recyclates, to standard material, as you see in the gray box, and to Primus extra material, which is developed individually for different brands. There are two washing lines, two extrusion lines. And on the other side, we have the production site in Eisfeld. There, the flexible material from the yellow bag, yellow bin is produced or processed. And the sorted material we have as well here, the LDPE standard recyclates and LDPE 2.0. So the next step with additional processing, additional cleaning, additional processing. So I think this is no doubt that the usage of recyclates saves greenhouse gases and have a positive effect on the environmental benefit. For the standard material for coming from Hörstel, you see here it saves, compared to virgin material, 50% of greenhouse gases by using of this material. We have calculating eco profiles, so we could give the customer of this products certification of the savings of this recyclate material. Some application I have brought here, or I would like to show here. These are standard material. You see, as the one I have shown from Yemaco, the cleaning box with the standard gray material. Then we have standard products in flower pots. Here, an example from the company Pöppelmann. They use the PP standard material in this flower pot material, Orgis, which are producing baskets for shopping baskets, etc., made from this standard PP material. And there are also new ways of use. The Stalen is our brand name. We have here made some chairs with the ScanCom together for outdoor chairs, which could be used in garden and other areas. And also with Casala, we made these chairs you see here, made of recyclates coming from the yellow bag, yellow bin. And our new lighthouse project is to produce the Stalen LDPE made from, or shrink films made from the Stalen LDPE. The processing of flexible material LDPE is always a challenge because you have a very high surface. It's contaminated with product residues from the product which was packed. So this is quite a challenge to produce high quality flexible recyclates made of the material coming from the household collection. And as well, we have some range of products in packaging. As I said, we call it the Stalen Plus or the Stalen Primus. You see the caps on the right side for bottles. You see the bottles here for flour. Oh, I don't know the English word. That the flowers grow better. Some liquid you could put on the flowers so they grow better. We have a lot of application in cleaning detergents, packaging. You see on the right side above this Emsal for cleaning detergent, and as well we have packaging made in rinse-off product on the right side. On the bottom you see the shower gel for rinse-off products. This is one of our lighthouse project in the past. The first application used in cosmetic rinse-off packaging made by recyclate coming from the household collection. So what are the challenges by processing the post-consumer material and producing the post-consumer recyclates? One challenge is the odor. So what causes the odors? There are a lot of criteria. You have microbiological infestation during storage and contact with the washing material. You have degradation during the process of extrusion and further processing. You have degradation of the material. You have the odor comes from different plastic components within the packaging, fillers and additives. You have other components, for example, labels and printing, adhesives, which causes odors during the further processing of extrusion and production. And you have migration of components from the filling goods as well. For example, the fragrances. When you have the PP material from Herstel, it smells a little bit like cosmetic product, because we have a lot of shampoo bottles within the sorted material. So you can smell the filling materials still in this recyclates, and this causes the odors in the further recyclate. So this is a challenge for this recyclates and the user of this recyclates. You have the possibility to limit this odor. You could do further pre-treatment, further sorting of different fractions, sort out, for example, printed film. It's an additional process step. You could de-ink, de-label the packaging further. You can optimize the washing parameters, the washing process. You can extend the washing time, the temperature, the water quantity, or the water quality as well. You could introduce more friction to reduce the amount of impurities in the material. in the extrusion process, you could reduce the temperature, the pressure, and the degradation to reduce the degradation process. You can do some further degassing, and you can do also some further decontamination. There is a possibility of stabilize the recyclate to use fragrances or as well odor absorbers. So there are a lot of possibility to improve the recyclates regarding odors. Much is possible, but everything is about money. This is not coming for free, and this sometimes makes the recyclates quite expensive regarding to the virgin material. So this is a challenge for the future, and we are involved in different initiatives, and we are included in the board of the management of a lot of initiatives. You see the Pro Europe organization, it's the packaging recovery organization for Europe. And Verwehr is, for example, for the glass association, and in different German initiatives like AGVU or Kunststoffland NRW. And we are a lot member in a lot of other initiatives, for example, CFlex, which have the goal to improve the sorting and recycling of flexible packaging all over Europe, and included, for example, in PCEP initiatives, Plastics Recyclers Europe, and different European initiatives to improve the standards and the goal for sorting, collection, sorting, and recycling in Europe. And one quite actual initiatives is on the right side. It's the Frosch Rezyklat Initiative. Together with Frosch and other partners, we produce this material I've shown you for the rinse-off product, for the cosmetic product. And another initiative is the Forum Rezyklat, initiated by DM, a retailer. And the Green Dot is part of this alliance, and the goal is to increase the recycling rate and the share of recycled material in this packaging. And one outcome of this Forum Rezyklat is the Kospatox Consortium, where the Green Dot is as well part. And the goal here is to set standards for the usage of recyclate and the toxicological assessment for the usage in cosmetic packaging, because this is still a challenge to use the collected material from the household, the collected mix. It's a mix of totally different packaging, and to have a standard for the use in cosmetic industry. Usually the standard is the food contact standard for the recyclate, but this is not always necessary. So there is a need to have an individual standard for the use in the cosmetic industry. And I think Philip will have some more words about Kospatox Consortium, but this is related quite close to or is related to the cosmetic industry. So this was a very short, quick introduction into the challenge, about the challenges of household packaging use of recyclate in the cosmetic industry. So feel free to ask.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
I try to encourage our participants to ask a question, but so far I cannot see any of those in the Q&A tool. So please also feel free afterwards to write your questions down. And Christina, I'm sure you try to answer them also in a written way, or you have the contact data of Christina if you have questions afterwards. But before heading over to Philip, what you have already done, right? One question for you. So you mentioned the project with Gemarco, with the gray is the new white or gray is the new green. Do you know about any customer feedback for this kind of packaging? Because it's gray, so it's not what the customer would expect. So do you have you get any feedback from Gemarco about the customer's feedback?
Yes, there's a very good feedback. They do quite a lot of advertisement about this packaging, and I think the consumer wants to have the material which they thrown into the yellow bin back in the product. And there's very, very good feedback. There is another customer of ours, a jockey, who made buckets for colors. And usually the buckets are white with a huge label. And they have as well this claim, gray is the new green. And they as well have a very good feedback from the consumer, as I heard from these customers. So this is not a problem. I think the consumer wants this material in the packaging.
Okay, so be brave to make packaging kind of like ugly. No, it's nice because it's gray, but it's not the shiny whitey.
Yes,
so
yes.
This is what you might be afraid of when changing the color.
Yeah, that's
Thank
right.
you.
We have a lot of discussion with marketing departments from our customer who in years ago they say, no, we can't change the packaging and we don't want to make it ugly. But now it's different. It's different now.
Okay, nice.
Sometimes the consumer doesn't believe that there is recyclate inside when they do not see it, when it looks like the packaging before, and they say, there is recyclate, I don't believe it. So sometimes it's not bad to see that it's made from recyclates.
Okay, and I see now that there are two comments in the Q&A part. So first of all, thank you for your presentation. So yes, thank you, because it was very comprehensive and a nice insight. But there's also the question, and this is a nice one, would you say that the color gray is also really attractive for cosmetic packaging? You were saying something about color bins and it's cleaning, so maybe gray might be okay, but what is your personal opinion? And then we will head over to Philip, but maybe your last answer to this question.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge in cosmetic industry. I would believe that too. That's right. But maybe Philip could give you more insight about that. They produce the cosmetic packaging and they have a lot of feedback from customers. I think, but I think there are some brands and some products, even in cosmetic industry, where you could use this recyclates, and it don't have to be always gray. That's maybe a wrong impression. We do color sorting, and you see the rinse off bottle for this shower gel is white. There is additional color sorting and additional washing and everything. So you have a white, light material. It don't have to be gray for the cosmetic industry.
Okay, Gregor, I'm just seeing that one of the participants would like to also give a feedback to this particular question. I don't know how to deal with it, if we have to head on with the program or if we want to open the discussion for our participant.
Maybe we should continue, because when I look at the time, we are a little bit delaying.
Sorry.
I mean, it shows that it's an interesting topic, and we can probably talk much longer about that. But maybe we can continue, because I see again a new answer or question popping up. So maybe what do you think to continue, Miriam? Philip.
Yeah, Philip, maybe Carsten Lemke, maybe you can keep your answer. Maybe it will be answered also with the talk of Philip, and keep your answer in mind. And this might be a might addition. So it's not like not wanting your opinion, but having our headline in mind. And so we will maybe keep your comment in mind that you want to say something, and we will head over to Philip. So yes, Christina also introduced you. So we will now have a talk from Philip, and he is from Henkel Beauty Care, and he will give some insights about sustainable packaging strategies at Henkel Beauty Care. So Philip, please, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Miriam, and a warm welcome from my side. Thanks for having me, for the invitation. Just bringing up my slides here. Hope you can see them in a second. Please let me know.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I'm happy to give you some insights from a multinational brand owner perspective. You might know Henkel, but you are even more, let's say, familiar with our brands. Henkel is a multinational company. We have 3 major business units. 2 of them are operating in fast-moving consumer goods, which is beauty care, where I am, and laundry and home care. And then we have a huge portion, 50% of our business is linked to adhesive technologies, which is all about B2B industrial solutions for the packaging industry, but also for automotive, electronics, so really covering a huge field here. What I'm focusing on today will be linked to our FMCG business units, so laundry and home care and beauty care. And myself, I'm globally leading sustainability and circular economy in packaging for our beauty care business unit. So when it comes to our overarching, let's say, strategy, we are our goal is to drive towards circularity. So the guiding principle is around including materials from sustainable sources, not only focusing on plastics only, but covering all kind of materials we are using within our packaging portfolio, applying a smart design, making it recyclable, making it mono to finally close the loop. And when we break it down into concrete KPIs, we already touched it. We want to achieve 100% recyclable or reusable packaging by 2025, which is nowadays a commodity target, I would say, for all the big brand owners that are putting packaging on the market. We are aiming to cut our fossil-based plastic footprint by half in 2025, which is probably one of the most ambitious targets in the industry. So that's really a big hit. Also looking at our overall plastic consumption that we are having. And then ultimately we are working towards zero waste. Zero waste for us means that we are taking care of what we are putting on the market so that no plastic waste is leaking into the environment, but it's also linked to consumer education, for example, and I will come to that later in this presentation. So these are our overarching targets that are driving us towards 25, and that are, of course, kind of triggering a massive portfolio transformation and portfolio shift compared to what we have on the market today. So how do we want to achieve that when it comes to recyclability or reusability, as said, building on smart designs and technologies, like, for example, Holy Grail, digital watermarking. So we are exploring many different routes here, but it's also about entering into new business models when it comes to reuse and refill models. When it comes to cutting fossil-based plastic by 50%, the majority will come from recycled plastic, standard mechanically recycled plastic, as just explained by Christina. But of course, an absolute plastic reduction is also part of that. Bringing down your baseline will actually help you to reach the target. And we have also complementary pillars when it comes to bio-based plastics, which are non-fossil based in terms of feedstock. But also we see advanced recycling solutions, chemically recycling, for example, as a complementary pillar next to mechanically recycled plastic. When it comes to zero waste, it's all about collection and recycling. So engaging into EPR discussions, so the green dot system that we know from Germany, that is also up and running in other European countries, but taking it also from a global perspective, the discussions around extended producer responsibility and how to finance waste management actually is something that we are engaging in and that we also supporting because it has been proven the only, let's say, functional system how to take care of the vast amount of waste that is occurring on a global basis. And it's pretty much linked to consumer education, giving dedicated information via our packagings when it comes to recycling instructions, disposal instructions, for example, to increase the quality of what is coming in from the consumer, the packaging that gets disposed actually. So this is framed under this zero waste pillar. If we look at some concrete examples when it comes to recyclable packaging, of course, we are looking at a very broad portfolio, but of course, plastics is making a huge portion of it. We have introduced recyclable tubes, multi-layer tubes, for example, for oral care businesses. We have changed major portfolios that have been equipped with carbon-based black, and we switched them to carbon-free black, making them detectable in today's sorting lines. You know that black packaging is coming with the attribute that it's non-recyclable because it cannot be detected in the sorting plants due to its carbon pigmentation, carbon-based pigmentation, who's kind of absorbing the near-infrared spectrum that is enabling the sorting in the plants. So we have developed together with our master batch and color suppliers solutions to make even black packaging recyclable. And another big pillar that is pretty much on the agenda is refill at home or refill even in stores. Yeah? So we are constantly expanding our refill ranges to minimize the packaging that is needed actually, and to also reuse the primary packagings that are already at the consumer's home. Yeah? And we have also introduced refill stations at leading drugstores, piloting in the Czech Republic last end of 2019 already, where you could simply fill up your used or empty shampoo bottle in a kind of refill bar, and simply reuse this packaging. So those kind of new models we are exploring more and more, and we also believe that they will make a significant share of the portfolio also for cosmetics in the years to come. Already briefly touched by Christina, how to evaluate recyclability. It's not an easy topic because it's pretty much linked to the local infrastructure you have in place. Yeah? So a certificate or assessment that you that might give you a good recyclability in Germany or Austria might not necessarily be applicable in other European countries, because simply the waste fractions and infrastructure is missing there. So it's particularly of utmost importance for multinationals, because we are not focusing on national markets, but we need to develop packagings that work in the best possible way cross-border. Yeah? So we are very much fostering at least a European discussion to come to a harmonized standard how recyclability can be defined. And there are a lot of guidelines out there that are also, let's say, covering broader packaging formats and materials rather than looking at what is really happening in practice and at scale at different countries. And we have developed a software tool for that. It's nothing that we have invented, let's say, in terms of underlying sources and rules that are behind, but it was the first time that someone took all the, let's say, existing guidelines that are out there for the different formats, and not only focusing on plastics only, but also towards paper and metal packagings, and put it in a very comprised software tool to get a first idea how your packaging that you are intend to design is performing in terms of recyclability. And you're getting a qualitative and a quantitative result, as you see here. And it allows a kind of quick and accurate assessment of what you are doing as a packaging developer. And this is utilized across our organization, but we also said, let's make it open for everybody. So it is publicly available. We have shared that on a global basis over 4,000 times so far. That is indicating that there is a huge need and that there is a lot of, let's say, it's a kind of white spot, let's say, but it's also a very complex topic. We have been certifying that externally with the Fraunhofer Institute, And yeah, it was also awarded just last year, and we received the Packaging Europe Sustainability Awards in the best practice category for this publicly available tool. But the discussion is still ongoing, and the industry is still trying to find, let's say, yeah, an agreement and minimum bar or minimum rules, let's say, that everybody sticks to. But it's a complicated thing, because design for recycling is one thing. If this perfectly designed packaging in terms of circularity will then be actually recycled in practice and at scale in the region where it's, let's say, entering the waste stream, is a different topic. But this is how we are contributing to that discussion. When it comes to less fossil, of course, as said, recycled plastic is our major lever here. We have already a lot of packagings that are carrying up to 100% recycled plastic. We have recycled PET. We have also applications with up to 100% recycled PE. So let's say the counterpart of the shampoo or the washing, the body wash that Christina was just showing from Bernhard Merz from Frosch. We have Sios, for example. The black and white bottles here are coming with 100% recycled PE as well. And we have also introduced very special material like social plastic that is coming from our cooperation with the Plastic Bank. This is the Nature Box range here, but also some dedicated line extensions for Fa and Schauma that are coming with so-called social plastic, which is a very special PET that get collected in coastal areas, in areas where no waste management infrastructure exists. And we are actually picking up this material and bringing that back into our very own products. So it's kind of ocean-bound plastic, but it's also really contributing in areas where we have a very high degree of poverty. It's really helping the people to make an everyday living from waste collection, actually, because the informal waste picker community that we are looking at on a global basis is around 200 million people that are making a living from waste collection. And we are paying them premiums, and we are creating the demand for that kind of material and bringing that back into our own products. And that's why it's much more than just ocean-bound plastic, because it has this social component that is helping the people on the ground. Plastic-free alternatives is obviously something that is bringing down our absolute footprint. It's about reinventing existing categories. I mean, everybody knows the solids from the standard, let's say, hand wash, back centuries back. But we have taken this format approach and further developed it towards really a caring and performing shampoo, conditioner, and body wash bars. And of course, all of that is helping to reduce plastic as a packaging material. And one of those solid bars are actually replacing 2 to 3 equivalent liquid products. So also the efficiency of that product, not only saving plastic, but the efficiency is heavily improved here. And we also have first bio-based plastic solutions. When we talk about bio-based plastic as an alternative feedstock for plastics, we always count on or build on material that is not any kind of speciality, because then it would kind of interfere with our recyclability target. But we need to make sure that we are decoupling from fossil, but at the same time still bringing in the standard commodity materials in the market like PP and PE to make or to have them recyclable. So specialty materials, special bio-based, biodegradable materials are a bit off focus, I have to say, because we do not have the downstream and waste management infrastructure in place. They are not at scale to really recycle them back, which is kind of interfering with the overall circularity approach. A challenge we have, particularly for beauty in Henkel, I mean, we are looking at roughly 130 brands. We are talking about roughly 5,000 formats of different plastic types. When you even add the color variations on top, we need to cope with a portfolio which is close to 50,000 active stock keeping units. So that is the complexity we are facing. So it's not about changing the big 4 brands we have and then we are done, but we need to really touch each and everything, and every little relaunch and little product needs to contribute here. That's a very specific complexity that we have within beauty care. When it comes to zero waste, as said, waste collection initiatives is what we are bringing on track. The cooperation with Plastic Bank is one of them. And it's our corporate lighthouse, let's say. We have started this partnership as the first global FMCG company back in 2017, and we have further developed. Meanwhile, a lot of other players have stepped on the bandwagon, which we really appreciate because it's a great concept. We have received all the big packaging sustainability awards in the last years for this kind of concept. Like the Dow Packaging Innovation Award, Packaging Europe Sustainable Packaging Award, and 3-4 others. And so it's really gaining, let's say, scale. And we have also renewed our partnership with Plastic Bank, and we are now developing Egypt as a country from scratch. And we intend to build more than 400 dedicated collection centers together with Plastic Bank, and we intend to recover more than 5,000 tons of material per year, which you can call at scale. So that is one initiative we are further fostering. And then, of course, it's all about collaborating with our customers, with the retailers that we are selling the products to, like the Forum Recyclat, as mentioned already. Initiated by DM a couple of years back, and it's all about creating awareness on the packs towards consumers when it comes to the correct disposal of packaging, and that's not only valid for plastic but also for metals, for example. We are engaging in quite some, let's say, overarching alliances from a Henkel perspective. Just to name 3 of them here: the New Plastics Economy, which have been instrumental in the last, let's say, 5 years to bring up this topic of circularity for plastics. We have been an early member of the New Plastics Economy since 2016. So being one of the, I think, 40 businesses back in the days who are started, and now they are looking at this global commitment where more than 800 signatories, I think, already signed off to set themselves ambitious targets towards circularity and in their area of let's say, operations. Furthermore, the Alliance to End Plastic Waste is another consortium where we are targeting waste and solutions that is occurring in primarily emerging countries. And as also already mentioned, the C-Flex consortium, where we have been a founding member due to our strong footprint in packaging as a pre-supplier from our adhesive perspective. We have been a founding member of the C-Flex initiative as well, which is all about making flexible packaging circular. Finally, the Kospatox Consortium, as already mentioned, is more targeting the cosmetics industry because, as already outlined by Christina, we have barely standards out there when it comes to recycled plastic. So there is either food or non-food. And there is nothing in between in terms of quality standard when it comes to the toxicological levels. And the idea was of this consortium that was initially, or that was initiated within the Forum Recyclat, but now it became a standalone consortium, and it is decoupled from its origin, the Forum Recyclat. The objective is really to develop a harmonized analytical test methodology to assess the contamination levels of PCR from different feedstocks across Europe, first of all, and to align within the toxicological community about threshold levels when it comes to product safety for cosmetic but also for near food applications like laundry and home care. Because we do not have to stick necessarily, we are not regulated by law to use food-approved grades, and you barely have any food-approved grade in Europe when it comes to polyolefins. So PE or recycled PE or PP in Europe doesn't exist in food-approved quality because it's coming from mixed household waste streams. Yeah? And one prerequisite that the EFSA, so the European Food Safety Agency, is putting as a precondition is that you need to ensure that if you want to achieve a food grade in the end, you need to ensure that 95% of the incoming material is already food approved. Yeah? Which is of course not possible when you look at the mixed household waste streams that we have established and that guys like the dual systems are building on. Yeah? So it's of utmost important to create some let's say safety and yeah, also providing the recyclers in the end, yeah, that are about to supply the material, giving them something at hand that they can apply in their everyday operations in the sorting and recycling plants without always having deep dive analysis, GCMS approaches that are taking weeks, but that is very, let's say, hands-on and reflecting the realities of this industry. And yeah, we have been instrumental in setting that consortium up, and we are now at the starting phase. The press release is due to come in like a week or so, the official launch, but it has taken us 1.5 years to set this up. And now we are looking at a starting group of more than 30 companies that are engaging here in this Kospatox thing, which stands for Cosmetic Packaging and Toxicology, by the way. And we are very much looking forward, and we want to have, and we need to have results within the next 2 years here. Yeah? So this is what we are doing, and then ultimately the final slide. Brand owners, I think, are key. Yeah? We are here mentioned as one part of the value chain, but in fact we have touch points which each and every stakeholder along this circular value chain, and we might be the most important stakeholder because we can influence. We are connecting all the dots. Yeah? So you can also see a brand owner as a kind of spider in the middle of the net here, because we have touch points with each and everybody along the value chain. And ultimately we are creating the demands, yeah? Because by specifying what we want, we are creating the demands for the end market. Yeah? And I think this is what is driving circularity, and nobody can do that by its own. It needs the whole value chain, and we need to gain critical masses each and everywhere to really have this transformational systemic shift that we see in the packaging industry that is going to continue. And yeah, that's where we are at. And that was my closing slide, and happy to have any comments or questions from your end.
Thank you, Philip. That was a very colorful, but also a very comprising information that you gave about what is going on with Henkel. I also have some questions in the Q&A part. However, we have some schedule issues because Heidi has to leave earlier, so Mark already agreed on like changing the schedule, so we will have Heidi for the next talk, but I think she's really limited in time. So unfortunately, I think we cannot answer the question now from Philip in the session if we want to give Heidi the floor. So I would go to Heidi. I would ask you, Philip, to read through the question which was written down in the F&A or Q&A part. Try to answer it, but we could also keep it up for the last part of this whole workshop today, because we will have a final Q&A part where we can maybe grab this question. So I hope, Philip, this is fine with you.
That's fine for me, yeah. No
okay, and thank you also, Mark, for being so spontaneous and giving Heidi the floor. So I would like to introduce Heidi Collion from To-Pack. She will like to give some information about beautiful and sustainable material innovation for all cosmetics. Heidi.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mark, for accommodating. Unfortunate this schedule challenge, but yeah, thank you. And I'm very happy to be here to present. Thank you for the invitation. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So yeah, as I said, my name is Heidi Collion and I'm Sales Director and Sustainability Expert at To-Evaluate. And I will be telling you a little bit more about our company, what we do and why we do it, and also the latest innovation for the cosmetic segment. But starting from the challenge, the company was founded in 2016 to combat the plastic waste problem. We know that the plastic production is increasing, and everybody probably knows that if the estimates from Ellen MacArthur Foundation that if nothing is being done, by 2050 we will have more plastic in our oceans than fish. And often the mechanical recycling is proposed as the solution how we can solve this plastic waste problem, but unfortunately alone it's not enough. We know that you can see the estimate numbers here, that even in the best case scenarios where we would be able to collect around 70% of the plastic packaging in the market, the effective recycling rate would still be less than 40%. So we need new measures. We need to reduce the amount of materials that are being used, and we need to reuse the existing packaging that is already in the market. And of course, we do need to be better also in recycling, and that needs to be developed. But in addition to these three, we also need new materials and new innovations that can help to replace some of the existing materials with more sustainable alternatives to help to combat this plastic waste problem. The challenge with the plastic waste is that it breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces of microplastics. And once it has entered into the ecosystem, it's practically impossible to retrieve. And we are basically eating, drinking, and breathing microplastics as we are already. And there is a new study from the World Wildlife Foundation calculating that each and every one of us eats the amount of one credit card of plastic every week. And this is really alarming since the early studies already show that it can have a very big impact on the human health, but also, of course, on the whole ecosystem. So to solve the plastic waste problem, we created To-Evaluate, which is a beautiful Nordic design combining sustainability and functionality. The material has a very unique look and feel, and we have been honored to receive several international awards also for the material. But no matter how sustainable or beautiful the material is, if it's not functional, it's no use. So that is something that we have been always focusing on our development work. So to make products and make materials that are functional in the intended use, and that they're also mass producible, so that we don't have to invest in new machinery or new production facilities, but actually the existing plastic manufacturers are able to take our raw material and start producing items in their existing facilities already. And that has been one important part of the innovation. And then talking about the sustainability, which is the key in everything we do, it goes throughout the whole value chain of our operations, starting from the sustainably sourced raw materials to the end of life of the product where it doesn't leave any permanent microplastic behind.
Heidi, may
Yes.
I shortly interrupt you because you were asking beforehand if the sound is well enough, and it was quite okay when we talked beforehand, but now our participants say they can hardly hear anything. Can you switch off your, so maybe just use the microphone of your computer and not your headset?
Does this make it any better?
Ah, wow, clear. Okay, perfect.
Thank you for pointing it out. I'm sorry. So it was a wrong setting. So
wow,
okay.
Wonderful voice.
Thank you for pointing it out. I'm sorry and thanks for correcting. So yeah, so continuing, I was discussing about the sustainability and then diving a bit deeper on the end of life of our products. So Of course, littering is something that should never be done. No material belongs to the nature, and everything should always be disposed and recycled correctly. That is very important. For Sulapack materials, the ideal way of disposal would be the organic recycling, industrial composting, where you're able to get the carbon back into the circulation. But we have designed the material so that no matter where it ends up, it's still a better alternative. For example, if it ends up into the mixed waste, it burns very cleanly, it doesn't have these toxic fumes, and you're able to create bioenergy from the material. And if it goes into the landfill, it will biodegrade without leaving any permanent microplastic behind. And then, of course, we are focusing on the future methods, chemical recycling, which is very interesting and also feasible, and then the mechanical recycling, which has already been validated for our material. And actually this week, we just launched our first take-back program with the pioneering companies in Finland. So we will be collecting from the market the used supplement jars that are being used, and then convert and make those to a new products by the means of mechanical recycling. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, you can find more information on our website. And as I said, this was just launched this week, so really interesting developments. And then about the sustainability and a little bit more on the raw materials. So Sulapack is made of wood chips and plant-based biopolymers. And even though the wood that we are using is coming from the industry side stream, we make sure that it is originating from sustainably managed forests. So that is very important for us. All our raw materials, they are GMO-free, and we make sure that they are safe for the humans and for the planet alike. The Sulapack materials have a low carbon footprint, and we do a lot to measure the sustainability. Of course, that is very important. When calculating the LCAs, and in general, we have noticed that the LCA is not perhaps the best tool to evaluate, and it has its challenges when it comes to these novel bio-based materials. Just to give one example, for example, the current LCAs, the life cycle assessments, they do not take into consideration the microplastic pollution. That is something that is not currently visible. So if you're using only the LCA to kind of evaluate the materials, you are missing one important factor on the kind of evaluation. Therefore, we believe that there needs to be also new ways to complement the existing, for example, carbon footprint calculations. We were one of the first companies to pilot the Circulytics tool that was developed by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And this is a good example of a new way of looking into the sustainability in a holistic way. So they are looking into the whole value chain of the company, and that is something that we have been participating, and all these kind of new developments. I just wanted to give you a brief overview on the materials. So we have several different materials suitable for different applications, ranging from more rigid to more flexible grades, and they are suitable for injection molding and extrusion technologies. And here on the right side, you can see some of the product categories that we are focusing especially on: cosmetic packaging, supplement packaging, and different luxury packaging. And then in the single-use products, we have the Sulapack straw and also the cutlery. But of course, basically, Sulapack material can be used to replace conventional plastic in several applications as well, in addition to these ones that are mentioned. And then to the very exciting and new part. So our new innovation that we have also just launched a couple of weeks ago, the Sulapack barrier, which for the first time allows us to have a fully biodegradable package that doesn't leave any permanent microplastic behind, but yet you're able to use that to pack actually water-containing products inside. And here I just wanted to show you a little bit more information. It's a patent-pending innovation. It's a bio-based materials that we are using, non-GMO, as I said, all the Sulapack materials are, and it doesn't leave any permanent microplastic behind. You're able to create low carbon footprint products and yet have these excellent barrier properties, and of course the materials also food contact approved. And here on the bottom, you have some statistics or some numbers from the testing that we have done. For example, the weight loss that has been measured in a jar with the Sulapac barrier, and then also the water vapor transmission rate and the oxygen transmission rate, which is in a very similar level to conventional polypropylene, or actually the oxygen barrier is even better with our material. So this is a really exciting launch and a really exciting innovation that we are happy to bring to the market. And for the first time, we are able to provide a solution for all types of cosmetics. So not only oil and dry cosmetics, but also water-containing cosmetics. We cannot save the world from plastic waste alone. We need partners in that process. And during our journey, we have been very happy to receive, for example, Chanel as our partner and our investor. Then we are working with international companies such as Stora Enso. We developed a drinking straw in a joint project, and they're helping us to scale our business also global. We are working with converters, and a very close partner to us is Quadpack. They are converting then the Sulapac material to different kind of cosmetic packaging and providing these to the market. And then different type of collaboration. We work very closely with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. As I mentioned, we are a member in that network, and it's a very important network for us to gain insights and perspectives, and also new allies that are concerned on the circular economy and want to do work on that field. And then, of course, there is also the public sector, the legislators. We follow very closely the European Union initiatives and that development, and also work very closely with different research institutes. And we do truly believe that together with our partners, we can save the world from plastic waste. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi. That was a lovely talk. I liked your slides, so they were lovely. So, but also congratulations to your launch. That was really interesting to see, and how to really use new materials. So far, we have heard about how to reuse old materials, but now what kind of like new materials can be used. I think there's at least one question. Yes, there's a question. What does industrially compostable really mean in the chat? So maybe you have the question to answer this, because I know you have to hop off, but maybe you can answer this one.
Yeah, so, well, industrial compostability is actually defined by the EN standard 13432. So it's an industrial composting facility defining the temperature and the timeline of the process. For example, in Finland, all the municipal organic waste is collected and treated in a industrial composting facility. This network is not very visible, but it exists in many countries. Of course, the legislation varies a lot in each country. What kind of material they accept in the process, what kind of certificates needs to exist. But I know that European Union is also working, and this is an area that will be expanding in the future, because organic waste is one big problem. In the materials area. So there will be required quantities from the European Union, and the organic recycling network is going to expand. But as I said, no matter where Sulapac ends up, it doesn't leave any permanent microplastic behind, and that is very important.
Thank you. And one question that I also wrote down, and it popped up in the chat. What is the pH stability of the packaging?
That is a good question. Unfortunately, I don't have the exact answer. Of course, the stability of each cosmetic formulation needs to always be tested separately. But yeah, unfortunately, I would need to consult our R&D experts on that topic.
Okay. There are two more comments in the Q&A session, but maybe you can write down the contact data of these two. However, one of these is addressed to Christine. Do you mean Heidi? So maybe this could be answered by the person who asked the question. But from Jessica, there's a question for Sulapak. So maybe you can write down, or the people asking the questions can write down your contact data, Heidi, and get in contact after this small session. So I think you will open also for questions afterwards.
Yeah, I can write my contact details in the chat box, so my email address. So of course, I'm very happy to answer any questions afterwards that you have. And apologies for me having to leave early. This has been a very, very interesting session, but thank you for this. And yeah, as I said, I'll be happy to answer questions. So I'll write my contact information in the chat box.
Thank you, Heidi. And
thank you.
If it is for Christine from the Grüne Punkt, the question, maybe you, Christina, can also answer this question which popped up in the Q&A part while listening to the next session.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we will head over to Mark. He is from Natru, and he will give a talk about packaging in natural cosmetics, consumer attitudes and standards. So Mark, if you are prepared, the floor is yours.
Certainly, I will just hopefully go to the right screen. One moment. Voila. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. So thank you very much, first of all, for the invitation to speak on this area. It's just, we thought we'd just change gears and give a little bit of a understanding of what's happening in the natural space, some information about a survey we've done on consumer attitudes. Some of these points are reflected, I think, in some of the talks we've had previously, but it's just to kind of consolidate those into obviously who the end user is and what their expectations are, particularly of natural cosmetics, because I'm sure you can appreciate that with natural cosmetics, lots of the people who gravitate towards these products have a core focus on their impact on the environment, and it can either be sustainable concerns about ethical and social sourcing of substances, etc., but we'll come to that in a moment. So just to give you a short introduction, just one slide to who we are as an association. So for those of you not familiar, Natru is an international association, a non-for-profit association founded in 2007 by the pioneers and global market leaders of the certified natural and organic cosmetic sector, who you can see below. We're a Brussels-based association, and our label, who some of you may be familiar with, which allows for the third-party certification of cosmetic products as natural or organic in the absence of an official definition, was established in 2008. Currently, we have around 80 or so members as per our last membership assembly. And of course, if anyone's got any questions on the association, I'm happy to talk on that. But I think the main thing also we're looking at as an association, and many companies are doing this, is to see how you benchmark yourself against this global movement of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And if we're talking about packaging, we're focusing ourselves squarely, I would say, in the area of SDG 12, so essential responsible consumption and production. So to take a step to what consumers are looking for in natural and organic cosmetics, well, the main one that we're looking at here is, in terms of packaging, is of course the area of sustainability. So principally in cosmetics, natural cosmetics, it's been a case to look at, and this is true in our standard, but also in other standards, to look at basically the qualities and the characteristics of the product. So this can be, for example, the use of natural ingredients, the avoidance of petrochemical ingredients, because obviously they're not considered natural. But more and more standards are looking to develop themselves in the area of how they look at the sourcing, the sustainable and ethical considerations of sourcing of raw materials, and the impact of the products and the raw materials on the environment. So this can be things, for example, in packaging, obviously to reduce packaging waste, to move towards refill, easier recycling, but also to look at the ethical and social engagement, things like, you know, fair trade, no animal testing. They're not so relevant, of course, to today's discussion, but I've put some of them up on the screen so you can have a look. But the main trends in the natural and organic cosmetic sector, which I've abbreviated as NOC, when it comes to packaging, I mean, things that could influence products that we're now seeing on the market can be upcycling of raw materials. In most cases, these are moving towards waterless products, which is touched on the point below. There's also a case that we're looking at multifunctionality. So in other words, if we think about the 3 R's, let us say this, reuse, replace, recycle. If we're looking at the kind of ability to reduce the amount of packaging, sometimes having multifunctionality can assist that, because obviously we're using a single cosmetic product for multiple end uses. It's already been touched on by Philippe about the area of refilling options and recycling. And we see this within our members and, of course, the broader cosmetics community and industry, that these are top areas which are now being focused on. Sometimes has been touched on, I won't go into that technical detail, there are problems associated with sourcing the right quality of raw materials and also the finished products, because lots of the time with natural cosmetics, just to give you an example, we may have essential oils are commonly used as fragrance materials, and sometimes those essential oils also have an impact on the type of packaging that you can use. It may be that with certain materials that just the naturalness of the formulation is also having an impact upon what materials you can actually use. So sometimes this may limit either the selection of raw materials that you can use for packaging, or it might affect, for example, the overall shelf life of your product. And of course, that's not something that, like most producers want, is to reduce the shelf life. They want to have a longer shelf life. So aside from refilling and recycling, we see, as been touched on before, the case of reducing or eliminating packaging. A lot of these plastic-free carton packaged products, for example, for solid shampoo bars, solid conditioners, things like this, but also more sustainable, renewable packaging from renewable raw materials. Sometimes things like wood, for example, are used. But to go to the consumer, I just wanted to give you a background to a recent study that we've done, which reflects on conscious consumerism. So this is looking at, and you can find these on our website as the top line reports, but the one that's on the right-hand side of your screen is the latest one that we've been focused on. Now, conscious consumerism is a mega trend that happens worldwide. And for us, as a standard holder, we look at the impact of consumer trends worldwide, because our label is applicable worldwide. So we need to have an understanding of how things are changing, not just within a particular European member state, not necessarily just within the European Union, but in more of a global context, as much as we practically can. But in this study that we conducted, we looked at multiple attributes of contributions to naturalness that consumers looked for in natural cosmetics. And aside from the areas of natural and organic ingredients being free from certain substances, and looking at the biodegradability or impact on biodiversity of the formulations or the sourcing, one key component is also packaging and packaging waste. And within this scope, and hopefully you can see this, there's a case where there's a high emphasis on, for example, looking at either using recycled material or zero waste. This is an important component for consumers because obviously it's a very visual element, and it's been basically advocated quite a lot in the media as well. So we looked at taking these 6 components of naturalness, and I've indicated one to focus on, which is packaging, and basically selected brands which were natural and organic. So for example, they use certified to a particular private standard on the market. Those ones which are nature inspired, what do I mean by nature inspired? It's basically a product which contains a mixture of natural and undefined ratio between natural and synthetic substances in a formulation, although it may of course present itself, it may market itself as being like a totally natural product. There's obviously an element of that would be in effect greenwashing. And then we also have conventional products. So I hope you can see the coloration, but if you can't, basically the conventional is the dark gray, the light blue is the nature inspired, and let's say like the kind of olivey green, depending on your eyes, is the natural cosmetic. So you can see that in Germany, the case for natural cosmetics is there is a slight differentiation for basically consumers when they perceive a brand's naturalness. Packaging and packaging waste is an important consideration for them. But one thing that I've just touched upon is this case of there is still a risk of greenwashing and perhaps misperception. Obviously, like in the case of where we look at brand X here is basically a nature-inspired brand that is presenting itself on the market as being perhaps more natural than it actually is. But in terms of the packaging, it's basically aligning itself as equivalent to a natural cosmetic. And this is part of the presentation of like the products. But of course, when we're talking about packaging, it's not like the natural sector has the perfect solution compared to necessarily other actors in the broader cosmetics industry. But interestingly, what we do see is that when you have new players, and brand Z here is basically a conventional brand which has a sub-brand that's certified to a private standard that exists on the market, what we do see is that there's an elevation in like the acceptability of those brands, not only when they're A, certified, but also because of the fact that obviously they can present themselves as being like certified. They have a high brand history and essentially a strong pedigree with them, but they also have a case that they can clearly invest quite significantly in the areas of packaging. And this is not to say that, like, for example, pioneers in the sector like Natural Members can't do this, but we're talking about the difference in scale, marketability and investment. And when we look at, like, just to give you an idea of like the natural and organic cosmetic sector and the influence of all different types of labels, because there's no official definition, there's not really harmonized standards, as been mentioned, when it comes to packaging, when it comes to, for example, the contents of the products, the sourcing. What you'll find is that there's a broad spectrum of things which are covered. And Natru is basically a multifunctional seal. It covers a lot of things, both what's inside and outside the product. And I'll come to some of that momentarily in brief. But I think the area we're looking at here mostly with seals which are more traditionally associated with packaging are those in the bottom left-hand corner. In the sustainability area that I've focused on, you might have cradle to cradle, for example. But there are also some packaging requirements that you might see in either member state labels, which people may be familiar with, like, for example, the Blue Angel or the EU Eco label. And all of these systems, it was mentioned that certification is can obviously vary between different areas, geographical areas. In the case of our standard, of course, and a lot of these standards where they're trying to be internationally applicable, they're looking, of course, to harmonize something at more of a global level, which leads to obviously quite a complex scenario. But the point is, I think that in certifying something, there is an added value because as opposed to just being a self-declaration based upon your own scheme, if you have a standardized criteria with verifiable elements that is independently controlled, it gives a highest level of assurance and can also be used as an added value to communicate to consumers. And if you wish to read, I've taken this slide basically from the guidelines on providing product sustainability information, which comes from the UN. So when I look at associating seals with different characteristics, a multi-characteristic seal like Natru, which is indicated here in red, is performs better, obviously, when it's focusing on those elements which the standard was created to initially look at. But as you move towards the right-hand side of the screen, focusing on, again, this area which looks at packaging and packaging waste, those standards which may be multifactorial or have historically focused quite heavily on the area of packaging can, in terms of the consumer perception, perceive to be a little bit better. But this doesn't mean to say a multifunctional standard has an issue in incorporating criteria for packaging. What it simply means is that it's maybe a little bit more complex to communicate multiple attributes as opposed to single attributes. And just as a last slide, just to give you an idea of where Natru is being involved in the packaging commitments, within our standard, we have, since the beginning of the standard, in fact, so since 2008, established label criteria to look at minimal and recyclable packaging, and also to make use of multiple use of packaging and use of substances, packaging materials which are from renewable sources. We have a prohibition on the use of also halogenated plastics. Now, in this sense, and this feeds into our second point, we're looking to develop this more with our partners. So we've formed an internal working group, so a packaging working group, which currently consists of our internal members. And this is designed, as it says here, to further develop the label criteria, to provide broader support to our membership and the natural and organic cosmetic community. But to also give guidance, because again, at the end of the day, consumers are looking now for sustainability, for greater naturalness, for less impact on the environment, but not just with what's inside the pack, but what's outside it. And we're also looking for partners and to develop this group larger with obviously like external input. And to this point, we're also present and have been since 2017 on Horizon 2020 funded project, which is looking at sustainable packaging. This has been touched on maybe on one of the, in the last talk, in fact, but here we look at converting municipal solid waste, so organic raw material, your used potato peelings or what have you, and converting those into, in effect, packaging materials vis-a-vis bioplastics. And this project will come to an end next year because there's been some delay. I'm sure you can appreciate because of the pandemic, but if you want to read more, I've put up the website as well. So if anyone has any questions for me, fine, that absolutely no problems there. And please find our contact details for Natru on the screen. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark, for your lovely presentation. I guess just one question popped up. Yes, what do you think about paper cardboard with interior plastic layer? For example, Starbucks coffee pot.
I'm not from Starbucks, but I would say that that's probably like, and I'm not necessarily an expert in all packaging removal, but I would say that that seems like a very complicated area to actually deconvolute those and separate those two materials in order to recycle. That's ostensibly part of the problem we face with cosmetics, because there are multiple levels of basically materials and different materials within one basically piece of cosmetic packaging. So yeah, it's difficult for me to say that because it's more a personal opinion on Starbucks, it seems, than something else. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, just to reduce waste, to reduce complexity, this area that we're seeing more with product passports and basically that more transparency and traceability in the supply chain, and where that can be underpinned by certification in order to give a better understanding of the chain of custody of these materials, to allow them to feed back into more of a closed loop system, the better.
I think that was a nice answer. And I was wondering whether your slide where you plotted the seals with characteristics, or where you showed the comparison, is it somewhere available to for like showing it to people that are not so deep into cosmetics and into labels, that you could comprehensively tell somebody? because I loved it. I loved it, like
Yeah, I mean,
seeing where the differences are.
If you want to you know, have a read of it, then if the question is more to like where can I find it, certainly it's available on our website. So you can just go to our website and find it. And if you can't find it, I did put the link up on the screen. I'm quite happy if those slides want to be shared. But in any case, find it on our website. And if you've got questions on it, that's absolutely fine for us, because it's the top line report that's available on our website. Of course, we have a deeper dive that's present, but we haven't published that on our website so far.
Okay, thank you so much. So there's a question in the chat for Sulapak. Unfortunately, Heidi is not here anymore. So I think we can type it down and send it to Heidi, or you can write her directly with your question. I think she offered her email address. Now there regarding our timeline, we wanted to do a 5-minute break. However, there's just 30 minutes left in our whole program. And to give credits also to our startup pitches, I would suggest skipping this 5-minute break and maybe having some more time in the end for asking questions. So what would you say, Jan? Are you prepared to start your pitch? And I think all the participants could grab your coffee also while listening to what you're telling. So is it okay for you?
For me, that's perfectly okay. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so then I would skip the break. It's just 30 minutes left. So let's go forward with the startup pitches. Jan, making a beauty packaging even prettier. So I'm excited.
Well, first of all, knowing that there is me and a few other startups holding you from your coffee, I'm so sorry about that. So I'll try to be clear and quick. That's the solution indeed, Miriam. Let me share my screen and start my pitch. So today I'm happy to let's say speak about how nature can make packaging, and in the case of Grown Bio, we do that with mycelium. I actually have a bar over my screen that shows the Zoom titles. You don't have that? Okay, then it's fine. So mycelium is basically the white stuff that you see below the mushrooms. It's the root structure of the mushroom, and that has some remarkable properties because it consumes organic waste, and it grows very quickly, and it binds that waste together. As you can see, this clump of soil is in fact now just one mass, and these properties are what we use to make packaging. What mycelium also does is it is not very picky with regards to what it can eat. So you can give it many different kinds of organic waste as long as it is natural. It does not eat plastic. There are some mushroom eating or plastic eating mushrooms, but that's not the one that we are using. And as said, it binds products together. Now, what we do with that is we make packaging products out of this. And here you see an example of a mycelium product where we have used hemp waste from the Netherlands to grow something into a shape. So the steps we take is we take the waste, we mix mycelium through it, we create a mold, which can be a very simple 3D printed mold, or for larger volumes, we vacuum shape them. We fill the mold and then leave it to grow for 5 days. After the 5th day, there is a time lapse in my presentation a bit later. After the 5th day, the product has turned from brown to completely white, creamish, as you can see it here. And it's intact in one piece, but still soft and wet and a little bit slimy. So what we then do is we bake it off in an oven, which makes the product lose half of its weight because all the moisture goes out. The organism, the mycelium, dies, and what you have then left is like something I have here in my hand. A product that is strong, sturdy, very light, basically an alternative to styrofoam. So as I mentioned, strong, light, but also shock absorbent, water resistant, You could also put some soil in here and grow a plant, or we've also made larger models that function as a wine cooler on your dinner table. And it's fire retardant, and that's one major, let's say, advantage for this product against, for example, styrofoam. So here the steps again. We take organic waste, we take the mycelium, we mix it through each other, 10% of mycelium roughly, 90% of waste. We make a design of a packaging product. Here, for example, packaging of a skincare product. And we let it grow 5 days, we bake it off, and we ship it to our customers. This is the timeless, and indeed, as you see, slowly it turns from brown to whitish. And here it is ready. So this is what's happening in the 5 days. You can't see it with your eye, but with this time lapse, you can really see the mycelium growing and binding everything together in a shape. This is the shape of a corner protector. So we always say, as long as we can make a mold, we can grow something from you. For example, here I have one of our first molds. It's a small one. This is just a recycled PET that we use, where we fill the mycelium, let it grow, and after 5th day, we gently take the product out, and then we have this shape ready. Now, compared to styrofoam, one major advantage is that we are what we call CO2 negative. So if you have 1 kilo of styrofoam in your hands, this kilo would have roughly produced or what is it? Sent into the environment 3 kilos of CO2. With mycelium, it's the opposite. There is still 1.6 kilos of CO2 embedded in the product. So it's a big advantage compared to that, and that's also why we are mainly pitching against styrofoam with the products. So we sell it and we make it, we grow it as protective packaging. Because here, for example, I have another one. I hope you can see me on the small screen next to the pitch. This is a protective packaging for a scented candle. It won't travel like this. So you have to still put a box around it. So we really focus on what happens inside the box or inside a container. Some more examples, and we are contacted frequently by brands in the cosmetics world. So it's clear that more and more brands are now realizing that there's more than just the prettiness or the beauty of a packaging with maybe some gold layered prints or silver, which in the end still has to be recycled or composted or in some way made into new use again. Whereas our products, the mycelium product, is a home compostable, so there will not be any industrial composting. You don't even have to take it to a composting site. There's more we can do by, for example, coating them, making the product usable outdoors, or adding branding like we have done with the brand Belle Rebel in perfumes in London, or I have that product here, the third one that you see, a skincare pack where multiple bottles of different kinds of skin oils can be combined. And on the right side, we sometimes wrap our products in a seed paper, which is a paper that contains seeds that you can later plant together with the compostable packaging. Besides packaging, we do some other projects, like, for example, this pavilion that we've grown on the Dutch Design Week in 2019, or some arches and outdoor furniture in Milan in that same year. But the main focus for us is packaging, like we've done with this Berlin-based brand, Plants Are Purple, who have created a gift set. And by the way, interesting, you also see a Zukunft packaging here in that same package, so they made it extra sustainable. Or the candle that I have already shown you, that is also wrapped in a seed paper by Heckles in the UK. Well, I've gone as quickly as I can and still trying to be concise and clear enough, but I can imagine that you will have some questions.
Thank you, Jan. I already saw a question in the Q&A part. Or? No, it was Somewhere there was a
Much.
question. There was a
okay.
question. It was about water resistancy. So how can it be water resistant if there's a special coating or if it's due to the basic principle of the mycel?
Yes. So mycelium is not absorbing. It is basically water repellent. But you have to compare it with wood. So if I take this cup here, this pot, I fill it with water, it will stay in there for several weeks. But after some weeks, the material will become softer and softer until you can really, let's say, it becomes flexible because over time it will absorb some water, but it will take weeks. So I use this one, but then the larger version as a wine cooler on my table, and that evening, and I put some ice and water in there, let it dry the night, and I use it again tomorrow.
Okay, so I think this fits to the second question, where it is asked whether it is only a secondary package, so only a package to be shipped, or as present packaging, so not to get in direct contact with cosmetic products, right?
That's correct. We can't do yet direct cosmetics contacts or direct food contact, and for the simple reason that we have not yet been tested on that. Because the hemp that we use for this product will be sterilized before we mix the mycelium through. The mycelium is a natural product. So my feeling is that we have quite a clean product that could be used as for direct food contact, but we have not been tested, so we are not into that market yet. It's really a secondary packaging indeed.
Okay, thank you. So due to our schedule and our timeline, which we have to run through now, it is sad to announce that Martina Ivanova from Pilo became sick. For our timeline, it's good, but still our best wishes to her. And now we can therefore go to Patricia from, now I don't know which the company is. I think it is COO, right? So, and it's about recycling is just the beginning, eco-packaging solution in cosmetics industry.
Yes,
So,
correct. Hello, everybody. Let me just share my presentation. Hold on. Just a second, sorry. Please let me know if you can see it.
We can see it.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the topic, as you said, recycling is just the beginning. So far, most of the presentation were about the interior packaging of the cosmetics. I want to talk a little bit about the external packaging, which means the how to deliver the final products to the customer in eco way, basically. So my name is Patricia Bilak, and I'm COO of Erbeco company, and I'm running this company together with my husband, Rafał Bilak. And we are basically we develop technological innovations in the rapidly growing eco-packaging market. We have over 13 years experience in the packaging industry. Actually, in 2019, we decided to change our company from being a trader into the producer, and we developed our own innovative product based on zero waste principle. In 2020, we started selling the product for the e-commerce market, luxury goods, commercial, industrial sectors, and we basically working on the paper. We are producer of the shred paper and mainly the printed silk paper to wrapping the luxury goods. Our company has been awarded in many rankings. We had the Diamond Forbes 2020, and this year we also reached this award. We also had many awards in the like the Polish one, like Gazelle Biznesu. So people start to see us pretty quickly since we start our production. And all our product has FSC certificate, so we really take care of nature, and we really trying to be responsible of what kind of papers we work on. What is our mission? Basically, is a complex supplies of eco components for packaging, and helping in creating pro-ecological image of the client. So as you can see on the presentation, we do produce and brand paper boxes. As I said previously, we are the producer of the sheet paper that you can see in the left corner in many colors. What I can say about this, that lots of the sheet paper that we are making is coming from the recycled paper or the waste paper. So we not only order the paper only for purpose for production, we're just trying to reuse the paper that is basically the waste for others. We also have the perfect solution for the glass protecting, especially in the cosmetic industry. You can see in the left up corner some kind of sleeve that has a little bottom, and this is the solution especially for the eco cosmetics and other cosmetics who are having the products in the glass little pump bottle, for example, or glass, any other glasses. So this solution helps basically to protect the glass, the product, before breaking. But also this material is perfectly absorbing the any oils or anything which can be broken by, for example, I mean, by chance, that sometimes it happens that something is breaking, so is not is very absorbing, is a good absorber for the product that might be broken. As you can see on the right hand side, we are producing, as I said, of the silk paper in many colors. We're branding them for the customers. They are 100% eco papers with very strong papers. During the production process, the fibre is closed very hardly, so is a good protective as well. And we are also producer of the ecological stickers to finish up the packaging and the ribbons. Everything we're trying to do with the zero waste slogan. So we always recommend it to the last client to reuse this product, because they are perfect to reuse them again in the packaging, or just giving them, for example, for the kids, to the plastic, no plastic for them, how do you say in English? Oh my God, sorry. For the paperwork, like kids like to gluing and you know, doing some stuff with the wastes that you can use for the packaging. So we always recommend it. So our main product, as I said, I will just shortly go through, is a paper bags. We are cooperating with the companies that they are producing the papers bags, so we branding them. We do have the products also for the final sending, like envelopes. Now we are in the let's say in the process of developing the envelope with no bubbles inside, foil bubbles, but with the paper which is like some kind of corrugated paper. Is very innovating. We didn't finish the project yet, but I think it will come up soon. As I said before, we are producing the sheet paper, silk paper, over 60 colors. We're branding this for the customers. Personalized ribbons and stickers. Stickers are also 100% eco with the eco glue. We do personalized boxes. As I said, we're trying to do as raw boxes as we can and recommend it for the customer. And we do have also personalized paper with the eco barrier, which can be home compostable. What it means that basically you don't have to give it the paper to the recycling. You can just throw it away at home and it will just disappear after a couple of weeks. And the glass protective sleeve, perfect for the cosmetics as well, even though the popularity of this product starts from the basically wine industry and olive oil industry, because that was the first implement for this product. And we also do the eco-personalized paper cups, but coming back to the Starbucks question that my colleague answered, our paper cups can be also 100% home compostable, because we do have the solution of the eco barrier. And when you put this cup into the ground, it will disappear after the couple of weeks, so it doesn't have a problem with the multi-layer with the plastic, so it's very easy to home compostable. So we really take care of our planet, so all of our products are eco-friendly products. We design eco-line, which means as less waste then better. And all of our products are regarding to the our slogans are zero waste. Okay, so that's the main aspect. And on the end, I would like to show you the couple pictures how you could implement our product that we are producing. So you can see I put mainly the pictures from the cosmetics. So you can see our shred paper that is a perfect solution for the protective of the eco cosmetics. Most of our clients, they are packaging in glass. How do you say, glass bottles or glass packaging. So many of them, they're using the shreds together, for example, with the our sleeves that makes them double protected. You can see our printing paper that is beautiful, presents as a final unboxing experience for your final client. And you can see that we easily implement this besides the cosmetic also in the fashion industry. You can see it in the our products are very suitable for the natural soaps, for the natural products, because we do have the papers that has eco layer, which is grease proof, and some of them waterproof. So basically that would be it, just for the short presentation.
Thank you, Patricia. So we have a question in our Q&A part, and it was, what does eco-barrier mean exactly? And you were addressing it when talking about the paper coffee pot.
Let me coming back just to the, hold on, okay, just give me a second, please. Oh, now I'm coming back, so sorry. Could you repeat it, please?
It is the question, you were saying something about the paper coffee pot, and you were saying that there is an eco barrier.
Yes, basically this eco barrier, I cannot say too much about that, because it's actually, we're still improving the machine to cover up with this eco barrier, the paper. So this is not finished project yet, but if you need some more information about what does the eco barrier really has inside, I would be glad just to send an email with the description from my colleague who is the engineer, and he can exactly explain what does the eco barrier has inside and why it's 100% eco.
Okay, so Mr.
I can give my coordination.
Young, right, please contact directly Patricia so you can get some more information via email.
Yeah, I would be happy to answer this question later on, yeah. Let me put my coordination.
Cool. Thank you. So while you were doing this, I would like to thank you for presentation and head over to Divya, right? Because this is now the talk about can cosmetic packaging be eatable?
Thank you so much. And let me share my screen. Also, it's such an impressive lineup of companies. It's impressive to see the kind of work people are doing in this field, especially with sustainability and packaging, which is so important. So I'm going to talk on a topic that's slightly a bit more different, but bear with me. So good morning, everybody. I'm Divya Mohan, and I'm the founder of Ubu. So when you have the question, can cosmetic packaging be edible? Think about it and answer it to yourself. If your answer is yes, then reach out to me. I definitely want to have a discussion with you. But if your answer is no, I hope I can nudge you a little bit in that direction. In order to go into the details of if this is possible, let me go through the journey of Ubel itself. Think about the last time you had a plastic straw. Did you know that over 1 billion plastic straws are used every single day globally? In fact, this small packaging product is something that when we look more into it in 2016, when we started with this problem statement, we realized that the number of straws we use every single day is enough to go around the Earth's circumference over 5 times. This small single packaging product, which seems so insignificant, pollutes our landfills, affects our marine life, and is also difficult to recycle because of its small size. There are some more eco-friendly alternatives to plastic straws. However, most of them don't have the same functionality or the same acceptability as plastic straws do. There also is a need to have straws and not just dismiss it because you have sensitive, when you have sensitivities, you may have certain products that need a straw, kids, the elderly, there's so many reasons to have it, but there is a problem. So what can we do? Well, at Ubel, we make 100% plant-based edible straws that are flexible in flavor and can come with added nutrition so without influencing the taste of your beverage. They're also biodegradable and cost-effective. So all you have to do when you have an Ubel straw is, and I'm trying to get the play button so you can see it in action, is sip into your beverage, gulp it down, and then munch into your straw. Now, of course, as we look into this, in 2017, when we started, with the project, we asked, can straws really be edible? And the answer was no, but we made it happen. And what also happened is, in the 3 years of developing the product and putting it out to customers and going through the process, we realized we went from, why would I eat my straw, to where can I buy the straws? And that change of consumer perception is what innovation can do. And one of the biggest barriers to innovation is saying no too early in the process of conceptualization. As we are now tiptoeing into finding new use cases for our material and new ways to use this edible product that we have developed, we realize that the line between the cosmetic industry and the food industry is blurring all the time. We see, for example, a huge rise of beauty brands going into the field of what they call cosmeceuticals, or even having nutrition or adding certain added value to what they consume as to change your skin from the inside. You see a lot of increase in collagen, increase in use of vitamin E, for example, or even caring for the skin from the inside using probiotics. So just imagine in the morning when you're sipping into your smoothie and getting your berry boost for the morning, you bite into your straw and get your daily dose of collagen. And that is something we can make happen because what we have developed is a base that can incorporate different nutrients to it and maybe change the way we look at cosmetics. We're also now in the very new nascent phases of ideation where we are evaluating, can we use edible packaging for more traditional cosmetic solutions or packaging. And in this area, if you can see, we're obviously focusing on single-use cosmetic products. For example, if you see the product down below, it's just a reference image. They have certain active material or active face packs that can only be used in single-use packaging. And these packaging come in plastic pods. What if it could rather be edible? And of course, there are technical challenges, just as there are with straws. But here, the technical challenges can be addressed in a way that to ensure that what we're trying to do is incorporate more of the upcycled products from food industry so that even if consumers end up not eating the technically edible packaging, we will still have a much lower carbon footprint. Of course, we're very early in the development stages, but the idea is to make sure we have a packaging that is kind to the planet, but also is edible for you, where you become the end biocomposers of this packaging. Through our journey, we have, of course, had the opportunity to collaborate with several different organizations. And through this, we have realized that one of the biggest ways to be more innovative is to challenge status quo. So if you have questions, want to collaborate, or want to understand how to use your straw and want to try a noble experience, just reach out to me. Thank you.
I want to buy it. Thank you. That was
amazing.
That was quite convincing, because it. So all the other were also convincing, but it was a really nice way of presenting your idea. So. First of all, thank you. It was really like, I was like, is it cinnamon? No, it is straw or collagen. So I was thinking about many things that come together with your idea. I want to see whether there's some questions in the chat. So good presentation. Yes, somebody else is pointing that out. No question. So far, I have a lot of questions in mind. However, maybe we could talk about it afterwards, and because there are so many questions. So, but just for like what is this opportunity to cooperate from the scientific university point of view. So if there is no concrete question, but I think they popped one up. Is your straw water or liquid repellent over a long time as you propose it for lip balm?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the reason why we proposed lip balm, and the straw itself is something that the material we use for the straw is made in such a way that it's water resistant, not repellent, but resistant. So we can, for example, sip your smoothie for 45 minutes to 1 hour, lay back and enjoy the experience. But when we're looking at cosmetic products, there's of course an added barrier, but we're looking at lip balms. Again, we're very early in the process, is because it's mostly made of wax, and there is a very low water activity in a lot of lip balms in the market. And those are the kind of products we're targeting. And like we said, we're testing this out to see what would be the best way to combat this. Our current solution may not 100% answer traditional cosmetic packaging, but we do have methods of incorporating more fiber-based upcycled products from the food industry. So we're using materials they don't want, but it's still 100% edible into the packaging material. So okay. Yes, it can resist certain water, but it depends on the product, and it's a very I don't think it's a straight answer, but rather it would have to work to different solutions.
Okay, thank you for answering this question. And now we will head over to our last pitch, and it will be Jelena from Lavios, and she will say something about natural inside, beautiful outside, the new clean look at me now design standard. So last but not least, the floor is yours.
So I'm sharing my screen right now, just a second. Hope you guys can see everything. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing great. And well, 3 minutes, 3 facts about my company. But before heading or jumping right into details, I would like to introduce myself and my company Lavios. So we are the first natural cosmetic brand only focusing on lips in Germany. And what's best about it, we're not only natural, GMO-free, cruelty-free, gluten-free and vegan, it also comes in a very natural and sustainable packaging, because we think that we need to be more conscious about what gets into our sexy bodies. So especially when it comes to lips, if you apply lip cosmetics on your lips and you eat or you lick or you talk, the product goes right into your belly. So that's why we put the main focus on the lips and want to raise the awareness when it comes to that topic. That's why we create clean combinations without all the harmful ingredients out there, and forego as much or as many plastics as possible. Because in our opinion, recycled plastic is still plastic, and we don't want to put so much effort into our clean combinations to finally put it into plastics. So how does our packaging look like? Fact number 1, you can see on the left-hand side our lip therapy, which is our does it all lip care, and on the right-hand side you can see our so-called matte sticks that are matte liquid lipsticks. and they come in a unique combination of a glass container and an engraved bamboo cap. We're still struggling a little bit with the lip gloss applicator, so I'm using this as a little shout out. So if there's anyone knowing a sustainable lip gloss applicator provider, please let me know, because there's no one to find. However, fact number 2 is that our perfect matching lip liners to the matte sticks are made of biocellulose. You can see it on the right hand side, on the bottom picture. They are made of biocellulose and sugarcane, and that's why our bulk is almost fully sustainable. It's fully recyclable and bio-based. The only thing that is not bio-based is the PLA cap, which is still a higher sustainable material than PP, or the majority also uses AES plastics or cedar woods, which, by the way, is or still has limited availability. So that's why we try to avoid these materials and focus it on biocellulose. And fact number 3 is that when it comes to shipping, we don't stop thinking sustainable, but we ship all our products in grass packaging, closed with a 100% plastic-free paper tape and natural rubber to stick it. Yeah, so in conclusion, we don't only have inner natural values, but also very classy and still sustainable packaging from the outside, as we want to prove that conscious beauty can still be cool and chic.
Lovely. 3 facts, 3 minutes, all cosmetic related and combined with the shout out. So
yeah.
Thank you. I hope somebody will answer your shout out. So I liked your presentation. So I like also your products. I was wondering, they look as if they might cost something. So do you have any idea? All of these things cost a lot, but your products look luxury. So is it that I could expect a luxury price, or do you have an idea if you produce a lot more? So what might be the span of your products?
So we are a premium cosmetic brand, and for example, the lip therapy is at €20 per unit, but we also have a very high quantity of hyaluronic and vegan collagen, which is plant-based, and which is not usual because we have a very high percentage put inside, so you really see effects when you use it for a long time. And for example, our matte sticks, they are €29, but I'm trying to lower the price at the moment by producing a higher quantity. But even in our matte sticks, they're not drying out your lips, and so that your lips are looking dry, and they are 100% with natural ingredients inside, which you're still looking on the natural market for. And you have also a hyaluronic acid inside, so we are really trying to have a product solution that can really concur with normal cosmetics, because in our opinion we have 2 people in the natural cosmetics as target group. On the one hand, you have people who avoid convenient cosmetics because they really only want to use natural products, but then they forego for the performance that they were looking for. And on the other hand, you have people who really want to go for natural cosmetics, but they don't like the packaging, they don't like the products, they don't like how they perform, they are like too tree hugging. So we are focusing more on the second target group, because we want to have products that really perform but still are sustainable and natural and really look cool, chic and classy.
Okay, so this closes the loop to what Christina in the beginning said. So there are solutions for special customers or for special questions, but sometimes they might cost a bit more, but we also get the information that customers are willing to pay more if they know that everything is sustainable. So I think you hit a very well market. So there's also one more question that somebody told me. I don't see a further question. Gregor, you said something about the question.
Is your straw water or liquid repellent?
That was the question for, yes.
That we had already. Okay.
Yes,
sorry.
yes. So it is, yeah. So thank you so much. If there's no further question, it is 12:10 and it's time for Q&A, which has not been addressed, but I think most of the questions that you were asking in the chat have already been answered. Now we might have the time for 1 or 2 questions for, I think it was Philippe, right? Yes, Philippe was presenting such a nice presentation, but I didn't allow any question due to Heidi's leaving. So is there a question open for Philippe, which you would like him to answer? Or Philippe, is there any answer you would like to give to any of the questions that were pointed to you? Is Philippe still with us?
As far as I know, yeah, I've seen him.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Gregor, what would you want to say?
No, but eventually he answered this question individually, because this is also possible.
Sure, there are a lot of questions that have been answered, and I was just opening the floor for the Q&A for him because I didn't allow any question for him due to the time that Heidi just had for her presentation. Okay, is there any further question that arose during today's session? Somebody asks for the website and contacts of Jelena. Maybe you can write it in the chat. So
yes,
everybody...
I'm going to write it down in the chat so you can see it.
Thank you. So it is still 10 minutes over the time, but I think not too much. Gregor, do you want to say something before I wrap it up, or do you want to wrap it up?
No, I leave that job to you because you have done it very lovely. Thank you, Miriam. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you that contributed. I think we could continue talks afterwards, or should eventually. And it shows that this is quite an interesting topic, even though it's a little bit niche. Because mostly when you talk about packaging, it's about food packaging, but I think that there are steps and of course still some challenges to go, but yeah, let's cross the fingers that we are on a good way. And yeah, thank you all, take care, and yeah, maybe see you for the next Match2Pack event. Yeah, we will keep you informed. Miriam.
Yes, so I think you have said what I wanted to say. No, I heard a lot of great, interesting talks. I've met some very nice people I might have not met if I haven't agreed upon moderating the session. And what I've learned might help to show off a little bit in front of my students, but not only in front of my students, but also maybe in front of my colleagues, because I've seen a lot of solutions which for sure in this particular point touched the cosmetic part regarding sustainability and packaging, but we've also heard some solutions that go beyond cosmetics, and this is something sometimes where we can get some information or ideas also for new topics, that we should not just look into one particular point of research and development, but maybe the solutions are somewhere out of cosmetics. So this is what I really loved. And what I've also learned is that it is definitively a topic for more time that we just had. So I'm a bit sorry as a moderator that we expanded the time of 15 minutes, but so many nice questions have been asked and so many nice presentations were given. So I thank you for the time, and I thank you for the possibility to be the moderator. And I hope that some people of you get connected after this workshop, because I've seen that all the contacts of the participants are shared, the participants list, right? when you go on the website. So I think there are the names and the companies. So I think if you are interested in getting connected to one or the other person, it might be a possibility to do it also afterwards, after the session. So thank you. You are still quiet, so.
Thank you all. And yeah, take care. And if there's anything, let us know. You can find most of the contacts on the B2Match website, Match2Pack Cosmetics. And yeah, thank you again, Miriam and the others.
Excuse me, I have one more question yet about
okay.
the about the recording this session. How we can? Will you send us a link with the full, session recording, or should we ask personally, or will you do it just automatically?
Yeah, it's a good question. As we have recorded it for the first time, it will probably there will be a link on the B2Match site. Yeah, check it. We will try.
Or you can write an email if the link
yeah,
has
we can
been
write and
uploaded,
then email.
so everybody
Yes.
is informed when you share the link.
Yeah.
Because there's also a question in the chat again. Can you please say again where we can contact you for the recording? So I think this is a very hearty point from our participants.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Take care.
Stay healthy.
All the best. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.